Hello again. We're doing our second video for the week, which is adding decimals, adding decimal numbers. Adding decimals is pretty easy. There's only one important rule you'll have to remember. Esta es el segundo video que vamos a hacer esta semana y estamos sumando decimales. Y es igual, la regla es una regla importante y es casi igual cuando estamos restando decimales también. So it actually could be called adding or subtracting decimals because it's the same rule. Please add your page number and the date for today, since you might be doing it on a different date than I am. Okay, we're going to be output, and I'm going to be asking you a question afterwards to practice. Today, our input, our lesson is adding and subtracting decimals. Like I said, it's just going to call it adding for today because we're going to focus on adding, but the rule is the same for subtracting. Okay, so we're going to put our date as well, so we can always remember which date we did this. We're going to go ahead and draw a quick chart, a 2-column chart that has our steps. Okay, so again, slow down or pause at any time that you need to. I'm going to be doing a 2-column chart. The chart will be a little bit skewed to the left. I'm going to do a double line to make it neat. Here's my problem or my question, la pregunta. And here's my solving solution, or also the examples. Okay? So when you get decimal questions, they will be written usually side by side. Let's do a plain regular question. So this is example 1. Okay? So reading this with me, 3 and 21 hundredths plus 25 hundredths. 3 y 21 centésimas y 25 centésimas. La única regla que necesitamos acordar, the only rule that you need to remember is line up the decimals. That is the most important rule. En español, la cosa más importante cuando estamos sumando o restando es que tenemos que poner las puntitas, la decimal, en una línea. Pon los decimales en una línea. Okay, that is so important. These are very, very important. So how would I solve number 1? Here's how I would solve number 1. Again, remember my decimal place value chart? I'm not going to draw the whole thing, but I am going to draw my decimals in the same line. So here's 3 and 21 hundredths. My 25, I cannot put the 25 here. Wrong. I'm going to put the 25 lined up, una línea recta, aquí. Y eso es como hacemos una línea para que los números están en las filas correctas. That's how we make the line so that we line them up so that the place values are in the correct lines. So put here, line up the decimal. That's your most important rule. What do I do now? Well, guess what? I just solve regularly, just like I would a whole number. I start in the right, 5 plus 1, 6, 2 plus 2, 4. Bring this decimal straight down. Don't forget my decimal in my answer. No se les olviden el decimal en la respuesta. Y 3 más 0, 3 plus 0, that's 3. So what's my answer? 3 and 46 hundredths. I am also always going to check and I check with the inverse operation, which is subtraction. Going to take this up to the top. Again, lining up the decimals. 3 and 46 hundredths. Let's take away this one. Doesn't matter, I should end up with that. Take away 3 and 21 hundredths. And I'm going to subtract. Again, the decimal is lined up. What is 6 minus 1? 5. 4 minus 2? 2. Bring the decimal straight down. 3 minus 3 is nothing. So I'm just going to leave it there as nothing. What you should see is that your answers are all there. That's one thing I love about math. Lo que debes ver es que ya empezaste con la pregunta aquí. Aquí, we took away the other number right here. Aquí, restamos el número que tenemos aquí. Y la última debe ser la última que falta. So that's how you know you got the answer correct. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and do another one. Number 2. Here's another example. This one's going to be a story. Okay, so let's say that Madeline, she bought let's say a pencil for a very expensive pencil, $3.15. Then she bought an eraser for, let's say it was a really, really ridiculously expensive eraser. Let's say the eraser cost $25. Madeline, you wasted your money on that eraser. I'm just kidding, Madeline. An eraser for $25 and let's say 50 cents. Okay, the question would be, how much did she spend? So, estamos haciendo una pregunta que Madeline compró un lápiz por $3.15. Después compró un borrador por $25.50. ¿Cuánto gastó? Y ese borrador bien caro. Ay, Madeline. So, I'm just kidding, Madeline. So, vamos a sumar primero estos dos números. Y acuérdase que siempre tenemos que poner los decimales en una línea. Aquí, $3.15. I don't need to put my dollar sign there. I can put it at the end. Then my 25 and 50 cents. So I'm going to put that decimal first. I'm going to put the 2 and the 5 there. Be very careful, the 5 and the 0. So again, that decimal is lined up. Let's start adding. 5 and 0 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. 3 plus 5 is 8. And 2. What did I forget there? You're correct. I forgot the decimal. I can't leave it without it. How do I check if I'm correct? Well, again, I'm going to start with the total. 28 and 65 cents or 65 hundredths. And I'm going to use the inverse, el opuesto, menor. Y puedo usar uno de esos, cualquier de estos números. I can use either of these numbers. This will be 3 and 15 cents. Let's subtract. 5, take away 5. Yep, 0. 6, take away 1. 5. Bring the decimal straight down. 8 minus 3 is 5. And 2 minus 0 is 2. So did I start again with what I got? I did. Here we go. Bloop. That's the same number. Again, I started with that number and I subtracted. So this is another fact family. The numbers will always end up correct if you got them correct. How much did she spend? Madeline spent, or gastó. Madeline spent $28.65. Now let's move over to your practice. You're going to do a couple numbers for practice in your output. If you need to pause, you may pause. In my output, I'm going to have you do 2 practice problems. Then you can pause to solve and see if you got them correct. The first practice problem is 11.5 plus 0.28, or 11 5/10 plus 28 hundredths. Number 2 is 6 5/10 plus 31 21 hundredths. Using that stacked method, please make sure to line up the place values, line up the decimals to solve. Go ahead and unpause when you're ready to see if you got it correct. So we've already solved, and this would be the answer. I just want to let you know that I did put a 0 here for a placeholder so that I could add 0 plus 8. So here is my answer, 11 78 hundredths. My answer, again, I put a placeholder here, was 37 71 hundredths. Did you get those correct? If you did, add a star. I did not tell you to use the inverse operation, but I'm going to practice with you. Please practice by using the inverse operation, which is subtraction. So 11 78 hundredths. Let's take away 11 50 hundredths. 8 minus, don't forget to use minus. 8 minus 0 is 8. 7 minus 5 is 2. And the decimal comes straight down. Did I get the same number I started with? I did, in here. Okay? Second one that we're going to check with the inverse operation, 31 21 hundredths. Line those decimals up. Oh, I'm sorry, 37 71 hundredths. So let me fix that. Oops. 37, I start with the total, and 71 hundredths. Take away 6 50 hundredths. Lining those decimals up again. 1 minus 0 is 1. 7 minus 5 is 2. Bring the decimal straight down. 7 minus 6 is 1. 3 minus 0 is 3. There I go. Did I get the same number? Yes, I did. Here it is. Oops. Here it is again. Okay, so if you did do the inverse operation, you can give yourself another star, and then when I check your journals, you'll get a great score. Thank you for watching.